Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to use our Crockpot to make a recipe. So we are going to make Crockpot beans and ham soup. Let's get started. For this recipe you are going to need 1 cup of dried beans mixed. So I'm using 1/3 cup each of black beans, pinto beans, and lentils. And then we also need 3/4 of a cup of chopped carrots, 3/4 of a cup of chopped celery, 3/4 of a cup of chopped onion, 1½ cups of chopped ham, 2 cans of chicken broth, 1½ tablespoons of parsley flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, and salt and pepper to taste. The recipe calls for 1 cup of mixed dried beans, so I have some black beans, pinto beans, and some lentils. I'm just going to go ahead and put 1/3 cup of each of these beans in the measuring cup, pour them in a bowl. They need to soak overnight, so I will cover them with 2 inches of water and then soak them so they'll be ready for cooking tomorrow. It's probably just a little too much. No, it's good enough. The beans have been soaking overnight, so as you can see on the top of the water there are some bubbles. So that's part of the reason of soaking the beans overnight, is that they then release some soluble fibers and starches and certain other compounds like lectins, and that which can make people more gassy. So now we will go ahead and rinse the beans. We're going to drain them and then cook them in the crock pot for 4 hours. Some people like to save the water because it may have certain other of the compounds that, you know, the stuff that has been released, but I think it's better to just rinse it all. Get it ready to go. Alright, we are going to go ahead and put our beans into the crock pot and cover them with, again, about another 2 inches of water, just like we did when we were soaking them. Now, soaking them also helps them to become a little bit softer to be able to cook. But, start off with this, I'll probably need another one. Yeah, it just covers the beans, so let me add one more. Okay, so the beans are now covered with, again, about that 2 inches or so of water, and we are going to cook them on high for 4 hours, and then we'll go ahead and make the rest of the recipe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is an even layer. You pour the water in there, it makes a little divot in the middle, so that's all nice and even. Got that, like I said, covered with a couple inches of water. And we'll cover it up. and I'll see you in a little while. The beans have been cooking for 4 hours now. So again, we have some more of those bubbles up on the top. We are going to drain the beans and then add them back in here and add our other ingredients. All right, use your hot pads when grabbing your crock pot because it's going to be very hot. And we're going to drain all that out. Okay, my beans want to stay in here. So, I think I'm going to rinse these. Let's see if all right, that's better. Let's get most of them out. Okay. Now I'll rinse. And we'll put them back in. Okay, now that the beans are drained back in the crock pot, we are going to go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients back in. I'm going to remember to turn this back on. Back on high. So we have our 2 cans of broth. So that again will cover the beans and obviously give us our soup base. Adding in our 3/4 cup diced carrots. I have to kind of chop, but they're more of a tiny piece. So instead of in rounds, they're in quarters pretty much. And then our celery, also chopped fairly small. Onions. Ooh, one more. And our diced ham. And then I have that 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Dun, dun, dun. 1½ tablespoons of parsley. I'm trying to find some parsley seeds. I grew parsley once. I had an herb kit that I got for Christmas one year, and I grew the herbs that were in there. I think it was parsley and basil and something else. And I used the fresh stuff, and it was so nice. I was like, oh, go over to my table and snip whatever I needed and use it in a recipe, and that was great. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I don't know why, but we'll put it in there. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and I forgot my spoon. Hold on. There it is. Oh. It always looks so nice and colorful when the vegetables are all raw. Looks so tasty. I'm going to go ahead and rinse out the cans just a little bit, add just a little bit of water, and add it to the pot just because it doesn't seem very liquidy as far as like a soup goes. That way you get the extra flavor that's from the can instead of adding just plain water. But you just add a little bit around the edges, type of turn the can, get the water in there. Kind of rinse out the can that way. That looks better. I do that for most soups that I make. I like to rinse out the cans or the, the box of broth or whatever it is, and just get all the flavor possible, especially if you need an extra little bit of liquid. That way, again, it's more of a tasty liquid than, like I said, the plain water. But that's all good to go then now. And again, we're on high. I'm going to cover it up and let it cook for 2 hours, and then we get to eat it. While we wait for 2 hours for the soup to cook, I'm going to do the dishes. So we'll get that done in the meantime. Alrighty. Soup should be finished. Let's check it out. Looking good. The Crockpot mixed bean and ham soup is all finished. Smells really good. So obviously if you are vegetarian, just leave out the ham. I believe the original recipe actually even called for turkey ham. And I thought, is turkey ham a thing? So I actually had to look it up and saw that, oh yes, yes indeed, turkey ham is a thing. But I kind of thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with ham. Cassie likes to eat ham, and that way we'll have like a meal for her to eat. So I made the ham yesterday, and we all had a ham dinner. And I cut off the amount of ham that I needed. I had my cup and a half here of cubed ham, and so I was good to go for this. Also, obviously the beans need to be soaked overnight, and so I started that last night and got those soaking. I've never done that before either. I haven't cooked with dried beans before. I've made lentil soup before, and I've done the lentils, and my mom has asked me, she goes, did you soak the lentils, because they seem just a tad hard, and that is part of why you soak dried beans overnight, because it helps make them softer. And that way too, sometimes there could be stones or I don't know, other material in the beans, on the bean package. And so that way when you measure out the beans, pour them in a bowl first and go through them, make sure there isn't anything that, in there that shouldn't be. I didn't really do that this time, I forgot. It was late at night, I was getting ready for bed, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get the beans soaking. So I just kind of like got that all together. But future reference, and for you guys, let me know if you've cooked with dried beans before. If you've done this, if you've soaked them. I read one article that said, no, you don't have to soak them, but most of the articles said, yes, soak the beans, because again, it helps them to be able to cook faster for the recipe. And also, it's supposed to let off, like I said, let off whatever starches and stuff that make you more gassy. So we'll see how this does with me. I'll be able to tell if my ostomy bag blows up like a balloon, which usually happens when I eat beans. Anyways, let's see, it should be cool enough for me to try. Oh, I need some beans in here. I've got ham and a carrot. I don't have a lentil, but I got some beans. Taste-wise, it's good. I taste the chicken broth, I taste the ham. The carrots are actually still just a little tough. Just a tad. Not bad. So it could have gone just a tad longer. But then again, probably also sitting in the broth and stuff as I put it away for leftovers. That'll help soften everything up also, and then cooking it again to heat it up, reheat. It's good. I like it. Another good soup to have on these cold days. Like I said, today at least it's warming up a little bit. Last week was our week of like the below zero temperatures. This week today it was supposed to be, it was 40. It was 25 this morning when I had it run out and I had to go get my port flushed. It was windy though. Very windy. So when I got home I checked my phone, and at that point it was it was a little later, I guess, when I thought about it, because I could hear the wind whipping outside, and I'm like, what does it feel like outside? And the temperature was 40, it feels like 30. I'm like, well, that's not bad, but it also had a gale warning, so it is very windy out there. But a little bit of snow. I don't even think snow is in the forecast for the next week or so. We're supposed to actually have 40 temperatures, maybe up to 50 on Thursday or something, and then back down to the 30s. But for January, it's pretty mild, not bad. Even still, cold enough. Soup is a good dish. But again, soup's good anytime. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave the recipe down in the description below. Let me know in the comments down below if you've had ham and bean soup before, or what you use dried beans for, what type of recipes. And yeah, enjoy. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.